Hello, everybody. This is Sasha, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. So, today I want to share with you what a freeze response looks like and why it's important to speak about it right now. First of all, a freeze response is natural and it's the way some of us react when we are dealing with something scary or highly stressful. We have four basic responses to stress or trauma, which are fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. The first two, fight and flight, have a more yang nature. They are more explosive, more reactive, and more fiery. The other two are more yin. Freeze is about feeling totally uh, like giving up, and fun, it's like trying to seduce your way into being accepted. You know, like when you are a people pleaser, when you try to avoid conflict by doing everything for everybody and always being there with a smile. So why is that important right now? Because we are dealing with so many stressful situations out there, and I want to help you acknowledge what your reaction might be like so that you can move through it, because that has just happened to me. My basic response, because we have like two basic responses, the ones that are our go-to, are more yin. I am more a freeze and fawn reaction person. And in doing that, my life was for a long time to um, stop, to stop. And because you know what happens with gin, gin has this quality of water. And when you get water stuck in a little closed environment for a while, it feels like it starts stinking. It starts feeling unhealthy to drink from that water. That's the watery nature of the freeze and fawn response. It starts feeling like stuck water. On the other hand, the fight and flight responses push you into action. They are like, okay, I have to do something, even if that something means creating a totally different experience, which is what the flight responses do, right? It's like I have to create something totally different. Uh, that's when you have a flight response. I have to be elsewhere. Bye. So, um, what happens when you are doing doing is that you start having issues accessing the power of yang. And I recognized that in me when I was feeling that I was stuck for a long time. I was starting to get frustrated because, underneath this yin energy, there starts being a sense of frustration, a sense of anger boiling deep inside, because deep in the bottom of every yin, there is some yang that wants to flourish, but if you don't let it flourish, it starts becoming like this dense accumulation of energy. And the same happens on the other side, right? When you are too fiery, you need like this yin quality, this softer, loving, gentle quality to balance it. So back to the freeze response. My first response to trauma or to stress is usually freeze or fawn. Until I started lifting weights. When I started lifting weights, it all shifted because I started generating a lot of yang energy. I started to get more fiery. I started to get like this, when you're lifting and you just go like, rah, I'm so strong. I started to go that way. And in doing that, I started to generate change in my life, not from a place of anger and resentment, which was lying deep in the bottom of my yin response, but from a place of just fiery need to create and to do stuff. And that happened for a while until this issue when we are all quarantined. And maybe a couple of months earlier, I had stopped lifting that often. I was just lifting once a week, which is too little for what I used to do. So my fiery quality was starting to diminish. And that's so significant to what I want to get to. So there is a point. When my fiery quality started to diminish, I started to go back into freeze as a first response. So when my fire from the lift weights and the young embracing energy that I have transformed my life with started changing me, changing the way in which I was perceiving. I was distracted with my cat. She was going like, "What's up?" Okay, back into topic. When I started changing my energy by lifting weights, I started reacting more with a fight response. I started reacting more like, okay, I got to get things done. Rah, oh, oh, I have to change. I have to prove it. I have to move it. I have to shake it. I have, ooh. I started to become more fiery and more with a fight response. So, and I had so many challenges coming like my way in the previous 2-3 years. But since I was more fiery, it was like, yeah, challenges, nothing on me. That was so cool. I was loving that person. And I still have that fire in me. But when I went back into very yin energy because I had to slow down things here, I recognized the freeze response again. And there's nothing wrong with it. I just want to say that to emphasize that the freeze response is not wrong. It just is. It just exists. Actually, the freeze response is a merciful response. It's the response that we get when we just need to recover, to get some time to get our shit together, to get some time to go deep into ourselves. This is like the quarantine. It's pretty much about us reacting as a society from a freeze response. And that's deep. Anyway, I was dealing with my freeze response in the last 3 days with this sensation of, what for? Why should we go on? I will just give up, because the freeze response can be like such a drama queen. So just imagine the Greek theater here, like, oh my god, why should I go on? No, there's no sense. So I was feeling that way. And I allowed myself to go deep into that emotion, not from this place of being, it's even hypocritical when you tell somebody, yeah, I see you, I understand, change. No, I was giving myself the chance to actually dive deep into the fucking emotion. I was like a Greek theater, Greek drama uh, queen, and I embodied the drama queen fully. So I was there in my drama queen. There's no sense. We'll just give up, And I even I even did this practice in which I speak to this part of myself that is feeling like shit. and then I speak. I make two parts of myself have a conversation. So there was this part of me that was the drama queen, and there was this other part of me that actually was also pretty dramatic. She was also tired as fuck. And so there wasn't really a discussion between the both of them. They pretty much agreed. And then I involved a witness, and then I involved my higher self. And it was pretty interesting, and it taught me a lot. But mainly, there was this moment in which I was just like, okay, I just need to lay down, to give up. So I was there lying down on the floor because when I say I'm a drama queen, I mean it. I was behaving like a drama queen. I was lying on the floor, and then I was breathing into my feelings, my emotions, and the sensation that I had was difficulty to breathe in. I was literally playing dead, and I was, that's interesting. So I did my practice. I was feeling better, but then next morning I was like, okay, I have had this conversation with these parts of me. Now let's do a breath work. Yeah, let's do breath work. Ooh. And I went and laid down and did my breath work. And guess what I noticed? I couldn't breathe. And it's funny. It's not like I couldn't breathe, like, oh my God, Sasha, you have coronavirus, go to the hospital if you cannot breathe. No, no. It came from another place. It came from a place of slowing down my breath because I wanted to play death, because I was giving up, because it's when you are too much into a phone response, you are actually slowing your metabolism so as to pretend, in quotations, to be dead, because that's a very primitive response. It comes from us being mammals. Mammals have this response. A mammal, when it's facing danger, first fights or flights, and then when the mammal sees that there is no way out, it plays dead. It just stops feeling. It's a way of, it's not even something that you think about. It's just a way to stop the pain. So I was there stopping the pain by slowing down my breath so much that it was almost like I wasn't breathing. I would just hold my breath for too long. And the breathwork practice that I do actually does the opposite. We breathe in and out like in a connected breath, and it's even loud and powerful. And the truth is that I didn't have that in me. I was just going deep into this need of not feeling. And you know what? I didn't push it. I went deep into that. I was like, okay, this is what it feels like. Let's stay in here. Let's not push myself into, no, you should be feeling amazing and you should be pushing yourself. Breathe, Sasha, breathe. Open your mouth. No, 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 no. It's like my body needs me to slow down, to just not breathe, to just feel. Then that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna feel. And what happened was something that reminded me so much of something that I used to do when I was a kid. When I was a kid, when I had a very intense emotion, I would go like, oh, and then I couldn't breathe. That happened when I cried or even when I laughed. I just would go, and people would freak out like, breathe, breathe, and I was just closed. But then after some seconds, the breath would come back and like, oh. And I remember thinking as a child, as I saw everybody panicking and throwing water at me, and it was such a scene. And they could think that I did it on purpose, and I was just like a toddler or a baby sometimes. But I remember the thought so clearly in my mind of saying, wait, it's coming back, it's gonna come back. the breath. It's gonna come back. And it did. I knew it in my body. My child's mind knew that the breath would be coming back. And it did. It did as a child, and it did this time. I allowed myself to go into the lack of breath until it came back by itself. And then the aliveness started kicking. I started feeling such anger because remember, I told you that underneath a very yin reaction, which is a very calm, smooth reaction, there is like this fire that wants to come and explode. So what I did was I beat with my molars a towel, and I was like rolling at it. I did a tantrum, a physical tantrum, which is something that just happens when you are not on a freeze response anymore. When I have tried to do this from a place of freeze, I am unable of moving my body. But when I do this from a place of connecting back into my fight and flight reaction, then I just start moving. So I went through that and I felt afterwards anger. I went downstairs like I was angry. And I welcome that anger. Because you know what that anger means? I was coming back to life. I was coming back to life. That I was welcoming life again. That I came back from the freeze into aliveness. And I'm not saying, hey, go there and get angry at the world, because that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, in my case, after such a horrible, deep state of freeze, I welcomed the emotions that arose afterwards. And in my case, the emotions were connected to anger, and that I hadn't spoken about, that I hadn't let free. In some cases, the emotions that were stuck might be connected to resentment, to sadness, sorrow, to many different emotions. Okay, so that was my process, and I take people through these processes because I have experience. I have experience in being the drama queen and in coming out from my drama queen. I have experience in understanding the four responses. I have experience in going through them with an open heart and an open mind, and with um, practices that can help you integrate these sensations. And if you want to go through that with me, if you want to just have a conversation with somebody that might understand how stress responses work in your body, if you want to talk with somebody that might help you understand why your body, your emotions, your thoughts are functioning in a certain way, check out the link below, the Work With Me link. And this is so important right now. I understand that the cost in that page might might be super affordable for you right now, and that would be amazing, but might not be affordable for you right now. You might come and say, hey, I really need emotional support, but I cannot afford it. I am broke right now, or I am uncertain about what is to come, or I don't know what to do with the finances. If that is the case, send me a message and we can always agree on a fair exchange, on a sliding scale cost that is affordable for you, if that is the case. So just go to that page and the link to book a call is in there, and we can always have a conversation about money. Don't let money be what stops you from getting the help and emotional support that you could get, okay? And that you need, and that we all need. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. And I really hope that when you were listening to this, something resonated with you and you were like, this has happened to me too. And that this was useful for you in that sense. See you soon.